like to say we have a quorum. To my left, Councilman Greenlee. To my right, Councilman Bass and Councilman Tautenberger. Mr. Romano, would you like to read the title of the first bill?
Do you want to?
Oh, before we get started, I'd like to say by request of the sponsor, we're holding bill number 170895, 170896, and resolution 170729.
Bill number 170905, an ordinance amending section 9-203 of the Philadelphia Code entitled Street Vendors by prohibiting street vendors on certain portions of Alney Avenue and creating a special street vending district on North 20th Street between West Clarkson Avenue and Belfield Avenue, all under certain terms and conditions.
Just state your name for the record and then proceed with your testimony.
Good afternoon, Chairman Squilla and members of the Committee on Streets and Services. My name is Rebecca Swanson. I am the Director of Planning for the Department of Licenses and Inspections. Today, I am here to provide testimony on Bill number 170905 as amended, which, if enacted, will amend Section 9203 of the Philadelphia Code entitled Street Vendors. First, we would like to thank the sponsor, Councilwoman Bass, for working with us on the proposed amendments. The bill creates a special street vending district on North 20th Street between West Clarkson Avenue and Belfield Avenue. The special vending district would allow for up to 8 street vendors, all of whom must be given prior approval by the department. The vendors would be permitted to operate from Monday through Saturday between the hours of 8 a.m. and 5 p.m. The bill also adds as a prohibited vending area West Olney Avenue from Church Lane to Ogons Avenue. The department has no objection to this bill and is prepared to enforce its provisions should it become law. Thank you for the opportunity to provide the department's testimony.
Thank you. Joe, you want to proceed, and then we'll have questions.
Yeah. Thank you, Councilman Squilla, members of the Committee on Streets and Services. Once again, my name is Joe Mead. I serve in the role as the Chief of Staff to the President and Executive Director of Government and Community Affairs at LaSalle University. The intent of this legislation, which was introduced by Councilwoman Bass, is to create a designated location for food vendors within the campus of LaSalle University. LaSalle has noticed an uprising in food truck vendors on its campus, parked primarily on Chew and Alany Avenue. Presently, there are 5 food truck operators who would immediately benefit from an area located along 20th Street. In a similar fashion as our peers, Temple, Drexel, and the University of Pennsylvania, we would like to assemble the food trucks in one dedicated area which would increase visibility, safety, demand, and volume. The proposed legislation would improve parking for the immediate neighborhood and structure for current and future food truck operators on the university's campus. Therefore, we strongly endorse the passage of this legislation as amended. Thank you, Councilwoman Bass, primarily Angela Bowie, the Committee on Streets and Services, in creating a permanent food truck vending zone. LaSalle University will continue to thrive and contribute to the vitality of the small business community within the city of Philadelphia. Thank you.
Thank you for your testimony. Any questions? Any comments?
Wow. I just want to thank both of you for your hard work on this particular bill. This is going to be very exciting, I think, not just for LaSalle University, but also for Northwest Philadelphia in general. So looking forward to continuing to work with LaSalle to beautify the entire neighborhood. Thank you.
Thanks, Councilwoman.
Thank you. Any other questions? Seeing none, is there anyone else here to testify on bill number 170905 as amended? Seeing none, thank you so much for your testimony. Mr. McMonigle, please read the title of the next bill.
Bill number 170363, an ordinance establishing a no truck parking regulation on the 1900 block of North 76th Street between Overbrook Avenue and City Avenue, both sides.
Dave, just state your name for the record and then proceed with your testimony.
Yes, Dave DeLugos, Traffic Engineer, Department of Streets. I'm here today to offer testimony on Bill 170363. The Department of Streets has no objections to this bill. The regulation was passed on a trial basis beginning on June 28th, 2017. Thank you for the opportunity to appear before you. I'd be happy to take any questions.
Thank you. Are there any questions? Seeing none, is there anyone else here to testify on bill number 170363? Seeing none, Mr. McMonigle, please read the title of the next bill.
Bill number 170826, an ordinance revising parking restrictions on Maplewood Avenue between Green Street and Wayne Avenue.
My name is Dave DeLugos. I'm the District Traffic Engineer for Department of Streets. I'm here to offer testimony for Bill 170826. The Department of Streets has no objections to this bill. The regulation was established on a trial basis beginning on October 12th, 2017. Thank you for the opportunity to appear before you. I'm happy to take any questions.
Thank you. Any questions? Seeing none, any other person here to testify on bill number 170826? Seeing none, Mr. McGonigal, please read the title of the next bill.
Bill number 170851, an ordinance authorizing and directing the changing of the name of Convention Avenue from Health Sciences Drive to South Street to Health Sciences Drive under certain terms and conditions.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman and members of the committee. My name is David DeLugos, District Traffic Engineer for the Department of Streets. I'm here to offer testimony on Bill number 170851. The Streets Department recommends passage of this bill. Currently traveling north along Health Sciences Drive, the street's name changes to Convention Avenue at the current intersection of Health Sciences and Convention. Additionally, for southbound Convention Avenue traffic, it currently makes a hard right turn at the same intersection going towards Civic Center Boulevard. This bill eliminates this hard right turn and renames the block so that cars traveling north along Health Sciences do not get confused when the road name changes. We believe this change will eliminate ambiguity and help emergency responders better locate destinations in this area. Additionally, there's only one property owner along this frontage, which is the University of Pennsylvania. And the University of Pennsylvania is also the one who initiated this ordinance based on the work on their new patient pavilion, the new hospital at this location. Thank you for the opportunity to appear before you, and I'd be happy to take any questions.
Frank, you can start.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman and members of the committee. My name is Frank Morelli, Survey Bureau Manager of the Department of Streets, and I would like to offer the following testimony on Bill number 170851. This is not an administration ordinance, but an ordinance requested by Ronald J. Patterson, Esquire of Clare, Harrison, Harvey, and Brandsburg, LLP, representing the University of Pennsylvania Health Systems. The purpose of this ordinance is to authorize the changing of the name of Convention Avenue from Health Sciences Drive to South Street to Health Sciences Drive. The purpose of this action is to improve public wayfinding in this area and clarify street names and locations for emergency responders. This ordinance is supported by the Department of Streets and recommended to your committee for favorable action.
Thank you for your testimony. For the record, I'd like to announce Councilwoman Blackwell, who's here. Do you have any comments on this, Councilwoman?
We met with them regarding this bill, and we agreed to support it. We hope
Thank you.
the committee will. Thank you.
Are there any other questions? Seeing none, is there anyone else here to testify on Bill number 170851? Seeing none, thank you for your testimony. Mr. McMonigle, please read the title of the next bill.
Bill number 170823, an ordinance authorizing the relocation of the southerly curb line of Carpenter Street from Broad Street to 15th Street on City Plan number 15-S, a variable distance southwardly so as to widen the cartway of said Carpenter Street, authorizing and plotting on said city plan of an area for public pedestrian use extending along the southerly side of Carpenter Street from Broad Street to 15th Street, and authorizing acceptance of the grant to the city of said area for public pedestrian use under certain terms and conditions.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, Squale, and members of the Streets and Services Committee. My name is Frank Morelli, Survey Bureau Manager for the Department of Streets. I would like to offer the following testimony on Bill number 170823. This is not an administration ordinance, but an ordinance requested by Mr. Jeff Potizzi, Esquire, Altair Property Group, representing Lincoln Square Property, LP. The purpose of this proposed ordinance is to authorize the relocation of the southerly curb line and the widening of the cartway of Carpenter Street from Broad Street to 15th Street, and to establish a 15-foot wide area for public pedestrian use, extending along the southerly side of Carpenter Street from Broad Street to 15th Street. These changes will provide for two-way traffic along the block of Carpenter Street, while also retaining parking lane along the south side of the street and providing sufficient space for pedestrian traffic. This action is part of the Lincoln Square mixed-use retail and residential development proposed for the adjoining property. This ordinance is supported by the Department of Street and recommended to your committee for favorable action.
Thank you, Sarah.
Good afternoon, Chairman Squilla and members of the Streets and Services Committee. I'm Sarah Chu, City Planner with the Philadelphia City Planning Commission. I'm here to testify on Bill number 170823, which was introduced by Councilmember Johnson on September 28, 2017. The purpose of this ordinance is to relocate the southern curb line of Carpenter Street between Broad Street and 15th Street at a variable distance southward in order to widen the cartway width and to improve the public pedestrian access, as well as to authorize the acceptance of the grant of this area to the city. This bill is to facilitate the Lincoln Square development, which was reviewed by the Civic Design Review Committee on November 1st, 2016. The property's rezoning bill number 1603 was approved by the City Planning Commission on April 4th, 2016. Therefore, at its meeting on October 17th, 2017, the City Planning Commission recommended that Bill number 170823 be approved as an item in accord with the previous policy. This concludes my testimony. I appreciate the opportunity to testify before you today, and be pleased to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you. Thank you for your testimony and questions. Seeing none, is there anyone else here to testify on Bill number 170823? Seeing none, Mr. McMonigle, please read the title on the next bill.
Bill number 170824, an ordinance authorizing the revision of lines and grades on a portion of City Plan number 359 by relocating the southwesterly house line and curb line of Byberry Road from the Roosevelt Boulevard to a point northwestwardly therefrom, and plotting on the City Plan a right-of-way for sewer and drainage purposes contiguous with the northwesterly side of the Roosevelt Boulevard and extending from Byberry Road southwestwardly to a right-of-way for drainage purposes, all under certain terms and conditions.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman and members of the committee. My name is Frank Morelli, Survey Bureau Manager for the Department of the Streets, and I would like to offer the following testimony on Bill number 170824. This is not an administration ordinance, but an ordinance requested by Mr. Frank Montgomery of Traffic Planning and Design Incorporated on behalf of Michael Cooley of Provco Good MCB, Byberry LP. The purpose of this proposed ordinance is to authorize the relocation of the southwesterly house line and curb line of Byberry Road from Roosevelt Boulevard to a point northwestwardly therefrom, thereby widening said Byberry Road. This action will provide additional capacity at the intersection of Byberry Road and the boulevard, and will facilitate vehicular access to the new Wawa convenience store proposed for the abutting site. This proposed bill will also authorize the plotting on the city plan of an already existing right-of-way for drainage purposes extending along the northwesterly side of Roosevelt Boulevard. This ordinance is supported by the Department of Streets and is recommended to your committee for favorable action.
Good afternoon, Chairman Squilla and members of Streets and Services Committee. I am Sarah Chu, City Planner with the Philadelphia City Planning Commission. I'm here to testify on Bill number 170824, which was introduced by Council Member O'Neill on September 28, 2017. Bill number 170824 will revise the lines and grades on a portion of City Plan by relocating the southwestern house line of Byberry Road, 17 feet wide from Roosevelt Boulevard, to a point approximately 400 feet northwesterly, and by relocating the southwestern curb line of Byberry Road 14 feet wide at the same location. Additionally, it will plot on the city plan a right-of-way for sewer and drainage purposes. The purpose of this bill is to facilitate the development at the southwest corner of Byberry Road and Roosevelt Boulevard, and to improve the existing traffic condition on Byberry Road. At its meeting on October 17, 2017, the City Planning Commission recommended that Bill number 170824 be approved. This concludes my testimony. I appreciate the opportunity to testify before you today, and be pleased to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you. Any questions? Seeing none, is there anyone else here to testify on Bill number 170824? Seeing none, Mr. McMonigle, please read the title on the next bill.
Bill number 170825, an ordinance amending Section 2 of an ordinance, Bill number 130355, approved June 17, 2013, entitled, An Ordinance Authorizing the Plotting upon a Portion of City Plan Number 58 of a 2 feet wide area for public pedestrian use extending along the southerly side of Pearl Street from 10th Street to a point approximately 138 feet westwardly therefrom, and the relocation of the curb lines of Pearl Street from 10th Street to a point approximately 138 feet westwardly therefrom, so as to widen the cartway of said Pearl Street, and authorizing the acceptance of the grant to the city of the said area for public pedestrian use, all under certain terms and conditions, by extending the period for compliance with the terms and conditions stated therein.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman and members of the committee. My name is Frank Morelli, Survey Bureau Manager for the Department of Streets, and I would like to offer the following testimony on Bill number 170825. This is not an administration ordinance, but an ordinance requested by Ms. Sarah Young, Director of Planning of Philadelphia Chinatown Development Corp. The purpose of this proposed ordinance is to further amend a previous ordinance, Bill number 130355, which authorized the plotting upon upon the city plan of a 2-foot wide area for public pedestrian use extending along the southerly side of Pearl Street at the ground floor level of the building proposed to be constructed on the abutting property from 10th Street to a point approximately 138 feet westwardly therefrom, and relocating the curb line of Pearl Street from 10th Street to a point approximately 138 feet westwardly therefrom, so as to widen the cartway of said Pearl Street. Bill number 130355 was previously amended by Bill number 150574, which extended the time period for compliance with the terms and conditions of the original ordinance for an additional 2 years. This proposed amendment will again extend the time period for compliance for an additional 2-year period. The purpose of this action is to facilitate deliveries to the proposed building by widening the Pearl Street cartway while still maintaining sufficient sidewalk area for pedestrian traffic. This ordinance is supported by the Department of Streets and recommended to your committee for favorable action.
Good afternoon, Chairman Squilla and members of Streets and Services Committee. I'm Sarah Chu, City Planner with the Philadelphia City Planning Commission. I'm here to testify on Bill number 170825, which was introduced by Council Member Squilla on September 28, 2017. The purpose of this ordinance is to request a time extension for the original Bill number 130355, which was approved by the City Planning Commission on May 2013. This bill is asking for additional time until June 17, 2019 for compliance with the terms and the conditions of the original bill. Therefore, at this meeting on October 17, 2017, the Planning Commission recommended that Bill number 170825 be approved as an item in accord with the previous policy. This concludes my testimony. I appreciate the opportunity to testify before you today and be pleased to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you for your testimony. Any questions? Seeing none, is there anyone else here to testify on Bill number 170825? Thank you. Mr. McMonigle, please read the title of the next bill.
Bill number 170713, an ordinance authorizing 2601 Pennsylvania Avenue Condo Association to install, own, and maintain a sign encroachment at 2601 Pennsylvania Avenue, Philadelphia, PA 19130, under certain terms and conditions.
Good afternoon, Chairman Squilla, members of the Streets and Services Committee. My name is St. Martin Torrance, and I'm the Director of Legislative Affairs for the Department of Streets. I'm here to offer testimony on Bill number 170713. This bill authorizes 2601 Pennsylvania Avenue Condo Association to install, own, and maintain a sign encroachment at 2601 Pennsylvania Avenue. The Streets Department supports this ordinance. Thank you for your time. This concludes my testimony.
Good job.
Good afternoon, Chairman Squilla and members of the Streets and Services Committee. I'm Sarah Chu, City Planner with the Philadelphia City Planning Commission. I'm here to testify on Bill number 170713, which was introduced by Council Member Greenlee on September 14, 2017. The purpose of this bill is to install, own, and maintain a freestanding sign at 2601 Pennsylvania Avenue. The sign is to be placed in the furnishing zone and it leaves approximately 35 feet distance for the pedestrian walking zone space. This encroachment meets the complete streets policy requirement. Therefore, at its meeting on October 17, 2017, the City Planning Commission recommended that Bill number 170713 be approved as an item in accord with previous policy. This concludes my testimony. I appreciate the opportunity to testify before you today and be pleased to answer any questions you may have.
Thanks.
Thank you for your testimony. Any questions? Seeing none, I guess you want a short testimony?
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. William Martin, counsel on behalf of 2601 Condominium Association. I'm also joined here in the chambers by Angela Nordstrom, who is the community manager of the condominium building. We have submitted Ms. Nordstrom's testimony in advance, which she is welcome, happy to address should you need her to. We appreciate the consideration of the committee. We think the sign, as suggested, is appropriate in size and design for that location, and we would encourage the committee to advance the bill.
Thank you. All right, thank you for your testimony. Councilman Greenlee?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just quickly, because I live nearby here, so I'm very familiar with 2601. It has really improved over the years in its development, and it works very well with the community. As Mr. Martin said, they worked with the Fairmount Community Association, and I think there's no reason not to be very supportive of this ordinance.
Thank you, Councilman.
Thank you, Councilman, and for the record, we do have the testimony, written testimony added to the record. So any other questions? Seeing none, is there anyone else here to testify on Bill number 170713? Seeing none, Ms. McMonigle, please read the title of the next bill.
Bill number 170723, an ordinance authorizing Germantown Special Services District to install, own, and maintain various bollard encroachments at 57 West Maplewood Mall, Philadelphia, PA 19144, under certain terms and conditions.
Good afternoon, Chairman Squilla, members of the Streets and Services Committee. My name is St. Martin Torrance, and I'm the Director of Legislative Affairs for the Department of Streets. I'm here to offer testimony on Bill number 170723. This bill authorizes the Germantown Special Services District to install, own, and maintain various bollard encroachments at 57 West Maplewood Mall under certain terms and conditions. The Streets Department supports this ordinance. Thank you for your time. This concludes my testimony.
Thank you. Any questions? Seeing none, anyone else here to testify on Bill number 170723 as amended? Seeing none, Ms. McMonigle, please read the title of the next bill.
Bill number 170820, an ordinance to amend Title 11 of the Philadelphia Code entitled Streets by revising certain provisions of Chapter 11-600 entitled Construction Encroachments and Projections over, on, and under streets to amend the encroachment regulations for signage, all under certain terms and conditions.
Good afternoon, Chairman Squilla and members of the Streets and Services Committee. My name is St. Martin Torrance, and I'm the Director of Legislative Affairs for the Department of Streets. I'm here to offer testimony on Bill number 170820. This bill amends Title 11 of the Philadelphia Code entitled Streets by revising certain provisions of Chapter 11-600 entitled Construction, Encroachments, and Projections over, on, and under streets to amend the encroachment regulations for signage. It provides a definition for portable signs and regulates their use in the city's right-of-way. The Streets Department supports this ordinance. Thank you for your time. This concludes my testimony.
Thank you. Any questions? Seeing none, is there anyone else here to testify on Bill number 170850? Seeing none, Mr. McMonigle, please read the title of the next bill.
Bill number 170850, an ordinance authorizing Ralston Center to install, own, and maintain bench encroachments on Spring Garden Street, Brown Street, North 37th Street, North 35th Street, and North 34th Street, Philadelphia, PA 19104, under certain terms and conditions.
Good afternoon, Chairman Squilla and members of the Streets and Services Committee. My name is St. Martin Torrance. I'm Director of Legislative Affairs for the Department of Streets. I'm here to offer testimony on Bill number 170850. This bill authorizes the Ralston Center to install, own, and maintain bench encroachments on Spring Garden Street, Brown Street, North 37th Street, North 35th Street, and North 34th Street under certain terms and conditions. My testimony is submitted for the record. The Streets Department supports this ordinance. Thank you for your time. This concludes my testimony.
Thank you. Any questions? Seeing none, is there anyone else here to testify on Bill number 170850? Seeing none, Mr. McMonigle, please read the title of the next bill.
Bill number 170855, an ordinance authorizing Passyunk Avenue Revitalization Corporation to install, own, and maintain various planter and bike rack encroachments on Passyunk Avenue, South 12th Street, Morris Street, and Watkins Street, Philadelphia, PA 19147, under certain terms and conditions.
Good afternoon, Chairman Squilla and members of the Streets and Services Committee. My name is St. Martin Torrance, and I'm the Director of Legislative Affairs for the Department of Streets. I'm here to offer testimony on Bill number 170855. This bill authorizes the Passyunk Avenue Revitalization Corporation to install, own, and maintain various planter and bike rack encroachments on Passyunk Avenue, South 12th Street, Morris Street, and Watkins Street. My testimony is submitted for the record. The Streets Department supports this ordinance. Thank you for your time. This concludes my testimony.
Thank you. Any questions? Seeing none, is there anyone else here to testify on Bill number 170855? Seeing none, Mr. McGonigal, please read the title of the last bill.
Bill number 170961, an ordinance authorizing the Bagel Place Shop LLC to install, own, and maintain an open-air sidewalk cafe at 404 Queen Street, Philadelphia, PA 19147, under certain terms and conditions.
Good afternoon, Chairman Squilla and members of the Streets and Services Committee. My name is St. Martin Torrance. I'm Director of Legislative Affairs for the Department of Streets. I'm here to offer testimony on Bill number 170961. This bill authorizes the Bagel Place Shop to install, own, and maintain an open-air sidewalk cafe at 404 Queen Street under certain terms and conditions. My testimony is submitted for the record. The Department supports this ordinance. Thank you for your time. This concludes my testimony.
Good afternoon, Chairman Squilla and members of Streets and Services Committee. I'm Sarah Chu, City Planner with the Philadelphia City Planning Commission. I'm here to testify on Bill Number 170961, which was introduced by Councilmember Squilla on November 2nd, 2017. The purpose of this ordinance is to permit the Sidewalk Cafe's encroachment at 404 Queen Street. The encroachment consists of 4 tables and 8 chairs located along the building line on 4th Street, as well as 3 tables and 12 chairs on Queen Street. It encroaches approximately 4 feet 6 inches on the footway of 4th Street, and the Queen Street leaves a minimum 5 feet of clear, unobstructed footway on Queen Street and 6 feet on 4th Street. The proposed encroachment meets the complete streets requirement. The Planning Commission is scheduled to consider this bill on November 21st, 2017, with a staff recommendation for approval. This concludes my testimony. I appreciate the opportunity to testify before you today, and be pleased to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you very much, and I do want to say that St. Martin, your testimony has been splendid today.
Thank you very much.
Very direct, and thank you. Same with you, Sarah.
Thank you.
Any questions? Seeing none. Anyone else here to testify on 170961? Seeing none. That will end our hearing, and we'll go into committee meeting. Councilman Greenlee?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I move for the adoption of the amendments to Bill Number 170905 and 170723.
All in favor?
Aye.
Oh, second. Did somebody second?
Second.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. Amendments to Bill Number 170905 and 170723 have been approved. Councilman Greenlee?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I move that the following bills be reported out as committee with favorable recommendation, and the rules of council be suspended to allow for first reading our next session of council. Bill numbers 170905 as amended, 170363, 170826, 170851, 170823, 170824, 170825, 170713, 170723 as amended, 170820, 170850, 170855, and 170961. Second.
All bills read into the record. A motion has been made and properly second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. All bills read into the record with suspension of rules be read next council session. Thank you. That will end our session. Have a good day.